Well, here I am in Jerusalem. That's the wall to the old city behind me. I was just in there yesterday and today also. Walked around a bunch. It's very interesting. Very narrow streets. Yeah, I didn't know where I was going. I mean, I kind of mentally had the exit or entrance in my mind, and so I was just walking around the old street, the narrow streets, taking pictures. Yeah, and I've a few stories to tell about the people here, specifically the youth and children. So, first, so I'm kind of walking around. There's like a touristy area where all the tourists go and buy things, and then there's like the residential areas where people live. So, you know, I don't like the crowds of the tourist areas. So I was walking around, like trying to go up and somewhere. I don't know, just trying to look for good photo opportunities. Get it? So yeah, so I'm walking around. This little kid, I don't know, maybe he's like 9 years old. It's about, I don't know how tall, but he was short. Anyway, so that's not the point. His height is not the point, but it was like, in very hard to understand English, he was like, what was it like? He was like, what are you looking for? Where are you going? And I was like, oh, I'm just walking around taking photos. And he was like, to take photos here, 5 shekels. I was like, really? Well, I'll go somewhere else. And he's like, no, the police, or 5 shekels. So, you know, I didn't have to pay him, I knew that, but I was like, alright, I'm gonna turn the joke on this kid. So, I pull out 2 shekels from my pocket. It's just a coin, a 2 shekel coin. Pull that from my pocket, and I'm like, well, I've got 2 shekels here, do you want that? And he's like, so I hand it to him, he takes it, and then he's like, two no good, 5. And I'm like, well, do you want to give me the 2 back and I will leave? Or do you want to just take 2? And so he thought about that for a minute, and he wanted the money. So he just took the 2, and I went on my way, and you know, I don't know if I encouraged him to do that more, or I don't know if it was a good thing to give him money or not. I mean, I don't mind giving him 2 shekels, not at all. I don't know if it was good to do that. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, that's what I did. Yeah, and then later I walked around the outside. Like I found some other exit. Okay, here's where I entered. Here's the old city. I got to an exit like on the other side, so I was walking around, and I had my backpack on. They're like these big dumpsters, like, I don't know, behind, like in one part behind the wall, there's like a garbage dump. So there's big dumpsters, and there was like a rock and then the dumpster, and I was like, that's cool. So I stepped off the rock and jumped onto the dumpster, doing a little parkour. And there was this kid who saw me, and he was all smiling, and I was like, hey. And then I was walking along, and then that kid brought 2 of his friends, and they were like, hey, as if they wanted me to jump again. So I was like, okay. So I went back, and I was just jumping around on the dumpsters, doing some parkour here and there, and they were into it. They thought it was pretty cool, and they kept telling me, oh, from there to there. Well, they weren't saying that, but they were pointing and making jumping motions. And then yeah, so those kids were cool. Yeah, and then some punk ass kids on top of the wall, right? Because it had snowed and rained. By the way, it snowed and rained, so there's a bunch of snow. There's like, I mean, it's mostly melting now, but there's still like big piles of snow places. And so this group of, I don't know, maybe 6, 7 kids, Their ages were probably like 10 to like 20, I think, honestly. Yeah, they were throwing snowballs down. I was like, okay. So I stood there watching them. They were trying to hit me. They couldn't. They kept missing. I was just standing there. And then some other people were walking by. They started throwing snowballs at them. So I turned, looking at the other people, and they hit me. It's just a snowball. I don't really care. And then they're all like on top of the wall laughing like it was some big, huge accomplishment of theirs. And I'm like, whatever. And then some guy came and yelled at him. And then I took out my camera and aimed it at them, and they ran. So, joke's on them. Yeah, scared of a camera. Anyway, yeah, so that was, that's a few stories about the youth here. Some of them are punks, some of them are not, I suppose. I mean, I don't know if I've really, yeah, I don't know. I just, maybe I ran into the wrong people. But yeah, that's about that. Alright, see you. I love you.